You are taking a look at the beautiful and historic Fort Worth Stockyards that is home to so many great things like the Cowboy Channel, like we're standing right here in the Cowboy Channel studios for Western Sports Roundup. My name is Elise Southerland. Amongst all the wonderful things in the sport of rodeo we're talking about and beautiful and historic things, now it's time to kind of switch gears and talk about another historic avenue. That is the Women's Rodeo World Championships. It took place last May right there in the AT&T Stadium, but a cowgirl that knows a lot about winning there is Kindyl Scruggs, last year's champion. Welcome to Western Sports Roundup, Kindyl.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You know, I've seen an article, it calls you like a rising star in the sport of rodeo and in barrel racing. And it blew my mind to read that because I've been following your story for a long time. You've been to the IFR, the IPRA finals 10 times. You're a two-time world champion. You are no stranger to success, but winning $61,000 in AT&T Stadium, I mean, that had to feel pretty special.
It was pretty special, and it is the most that I've won at one time. So I'm thankful for the WCRA for that.
You know, this horse, you've had him since he was a fraternity colt. Tell me a little bit about Chrome.
So I bought him, it's been several years ago now. He was blown up. Well, I say blown up. He wouldn't complete the pattern, so I guess that would be, the equivalent to. He was ducking the second barrel. I got him from a kid in Georgia, and he ducked every now and then. He ducked every single run. And I actually traded a couple of colts for him, so yearlings. And so I didn't have very much money invested in him, and really liked his conformation. He has a really short back, and he's kind of long in his pasterns, probably not conformationally correct, but I thought he had the speed, and so I gave him a try, and, I'm thankful I did.
You know, you ran almost a half a second faster than the rest of the field. What do you think contributes to making him that successful and that fast?
I do think his conformation, but he is just a fast horse in general. When I rode him the first time and when I watched the videos of him and kind of did my research, Josh Pack actually had him before the kid that I got him from. He ran him at the Futurities, and so I did some research on him before I traded him, because I knew riding him really wasn't an option at that point. I wasn't going to see how fast he was with what, how bad he was doing at that exact time. And so, his papers aren't super special. He does have some running horse stuff in his papers, but I just think he's just an athlete. Sometimes you just see those horses that are just raw speed fast. And then with his conformation, I think it helps his turns. He's got a really short back. He's kind of has a higher headset. And so it's really easy for him to get on his back end and really come around and drive out of his turns.
Well, he clearly did fantastic for you. You've put together some incredible horses, not only Chrome, but the other horse, Bull, that you won the world on in the IPRA as well. You putting these horses together, what went into preparing Chrome for a setup like you ran at AT&T Stadium?
I think just over time, if you only have one or two really good horses, you kind of learn what positions to put them in different predicaments and, arena styles and that sort of thing. And Chrome is pretty opposite of Bull, how he was. Bull was very free and a flatter style, he ran with his head low, and you really had to slow him down for the first barrel. And Chrome is the total opposite. He's pretty tight and he wants to run pretty collected. And so for that kind of an odd angle to the first barrel, and then the pattern being off-centered at AT&T, tricky pins like that actually make him a little easier to ride because he is so tight and hunts the barrel so hard. So it was just kind of the perfect setup for him. I really like that. And I like bigger, more open pins or weird angles, because he's going to run to a spot no matter, the angle. Whereas on Bull, it was a little tougher on situations like that. He did better in a smaller, more square pin where he kind of could bounce off the walls a little more. So just, I think the style of horse has a lot to do with, what horses excel where.
That makes a lot of sense. It looked like he really did enjoy that setup and that big stage in the sport of rodeo. You know, I really enjoyed also looking back and seeing videos of that run. What was going through your mind when you realized that you had just won $60,000 and where the Dallas Cowboys play?
Oh, it was really cool. You know, I don't watch sports a lot, but there's some places where you go and it really doesn't matter if you're a huge sports fan. You kind of know what the place is and how historic and cool it would be to do something like that there at an arena like that. And so it was really exciting. And you know, the PBR has a whole different energy than rodeo. And so, you know, I went in there and you go through a tunnel, and when you're in there, you don't get back out. And so Chrome does have a tendency to get a little more, he kind of internalizes his nerves, and so he doesn't get excited externally and do stupid stuff like a lot of our horses do, but you know, he does get nervous. And so when you walk in there, and afterwards, you know, I called my mom and I was so excited, but when you walked in there before you ran, you could feel the noise on your clothes. You know, like you're at
Oh, wow.
some kind of a rock concert or something. The energy in the stadium was like nothing I've ever been. You know, I've been and watched the NFR, and I've obviously been to the IPRA finals, and I've been a lot of places where, and St. Tite is one of the best rodeos you'll ever go to, no matter what kind of rodeos you've ever been to. And that, I would say that AT&T is the only place I've ever been that was, you know, more like electric than St. Tite.
That atmosphere is electric for sure. But speaking of electricity, I mean, with a win like that, you have got the world by the tail, and with a special horse like Chrome. What's next for you, Kindyl?
You know, I really don't know, because last year I didn't set any goals, and I think that went well for me. And so I have nominated. I do really, really like the WCRA a lot, and they've obviously set me up to have a really successful, you know, start in my career riding horses for a living. And so I've been doing that, and I'm going to continue to go to the WCRAs as much as I can. Hopefully be back at AT&T, you know, in May. And I think just still kind of keep that same goal, try to go where there's the most money and run the fewest times. I think I'm just going to keep that goal.
Well, I think that sounds like a good one, and maybe another big check to cash in. Like you said, coming in May 12th through the 14th in Arlington and Fort Worth. That's the Women's Rodeo World Championships. How exciting is that going to be? Congratulations on last year's win in 2024, and best of luck, Kindyl, for the 2025 season and your entire future in the sport of rodeo. It's been great talking to you.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, that's going to do it. What a cool barrel racer and a big win for her. But we are going to take a timeout. When we come back, we're going to continue talking about great rodeos and fun setups. San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. We'll have a live report from the Arena Dirt coming up right after this on Western Sports Roundup.